speaking fluently is the art of spontaneously using the words that you already know and how to use those words spontaneously. When you have good vocabulary, you will not fumble. Hi everybody, how are you all? Hope you're doing great. Welcome back to another session of learning English with me. Today, I'm going to discuss a very important question, something that is asked often. It is whether vocabulary is important to speak fluent English or not. Whether you should pay attention to vocabulary separately. So it is a big question. How much vocabulary you need to master, whether you need to master vocabulary or not, whether it is important to improve your English or not. It is a very important question. And today I am going to answer this and address this particular question in details. I'm Shivangi Gupta, your CELTA certified English language tutor, certified by the University of Cambridge, the UK, and you're watching Speak English with Shivangi. Before beginning, I would like to request you to please subscribe the channel so that you don't miss out on any video lesson. You get one English video lesson every day on this channel in the morning. Like the video and share it with your friends too. So coming back to the lesson, that is whether vocabulary is important or not, or just reading, listening and doing your speaking practice is enough. Well, it is a big question. Before coming to this particular question, the point that whether you can improve your vocabulary just by reading, listening, or whether you need to deliberately pay attention to what's the vocabulary, I'm going to address it. But before that, let me ask you, what is a language? Language is used to communicate, right? And when I say we use language to communicate, we are producing some sounds. Together, they are forming what? Sentences. So what is the basic unit of any language? The basic foundation, structure. A lot of you might say grammar. That's correct. Grammar is the basic structure of any language. But what do we construct with the help of grammar? We construct a correct sentence with the help of grammar. But the basic unit that is required to construct a sentence, what is it? That's a word. And what is a word? That's vocabulary. So can you see, vocabulary is very essential. It's utmost important thing. Without words, you will not speak anything. Without words, you will not be able to convey your message. Often, people who are at their beginner level of learning any language, whether it's English, whether it's Spanish, whether it's French, whether it's Italian, whatever is the language, when they are at the beginning stages of learning how to speak a new language, they often do it by replacing words, small words in a sentence. Or often they try to speak English or the other language that they are learning in a particular situation by replying in short words, trying to speak short sentences, single words. That's how they begin speaking any language, and that's how people begin speaking English too. So they try to speak English. Even if it's a single word that's gonna convey the message, they do it. Now, what if they do not know the word? What if they do not know the vocabulary? How are they going to say anything? How are they going to say something? So vocabulary is very important. You cannot neglect vocabulary. Without vocabulary, you cannot speak any language. So definitely without vocabulary, you cannot speak English too. Now the question that doing just your speaking practice or listening to English, will it improve everything about your English? Is it gonna make you perfect and fluent in English? Or do you need to deliberately pay attention towards your vocabulary? Now my answer to this particular question is you can have two-way approach. That is, one, you focus on vocabulary. You deliberately try to learn different segments of vocabulary with context. Okay, do not just memorize vocabulary, and why you should not do it, I already have a video on it. In details, you can go and check this video out where I'm telling you why you should not learn lists of vocabulary just like that. So do not randomly learn some words and like that. No. Learn words with context. You can definitely do that. You can learn the words, you can learn vocabulary with context. You can make some efforts in learning those words, maybe synonyms, antonyms, definition, how you're going to use it in your day-to-day conversation. And the second approach is that you learn vocabulary through listening and reading. So when you listen and read, it's just not some kind of passive activity that you're doing. No, I always tell you that you listen and read to improve your English. And if you're just listening and reading and doing nothing about it, then how are you going to become fluent? Just listening and just reading just like that and leaving everything after that will not improve your vocabulary. If you are thinking that listening and reading is going to improve your vocabulary, you will not pay attention towards your vocabulary separately, then you need to include vocabulary in your listening and reading. That is, when you are listening to a particular podcast, to a particular video in English, you're listening to something on YouTube in English, you're reading something in English, you need to find new words in order to improve your vocabulary. Because improving vocabulary is must. Until and unless you know words, you are comfortable with those words, you will not be able to speak English fluently ever. Because speaking fluently is the art of spontaneously using the words that you already know. And how to use those words spontaneously. When you have good vocabulary, you will not fumble, you will not stop to think, you will not translate. There are lots of problems that get automatically solved when you have strong vocabulary. So vocabulary is very important. And why vocabulary is important? Because sometimes you need to use different words according to the context. Just learning one word and using it every time in different contexts might not work. There are synonyms for a particular set of words, group of words, and they differ in their meaning just a little bit through their context, through their usage. So meaning might be similar, but the way you use them, that's different. And that is why improving your vocabulary is important to speak fluent and good English. So focus on your vocabulary. My answer is that focus on your vocabulary. If you really want to upgrade your vocabulary, you need to learn phrases, you need to learn new words. Make some efforts to deliberately learn vocabulary. And if you think that you are short on time, then when you listen and read in English, at that time, try to upgrade your vocabulary, try to find new words, try to look out for the words that you don't know. So these are the two ways in which you can approach the vocabulary enhancement for your English speaking. So my answer is yes, you need to improve vocabulary because it is utmost important thing. Words are what makes a language, and if you don't know good words, how are you going to convey the message? How are you going to speak and communicate? So words are important, vocabulary is important. So next time when you are in this particular dilemma that whether to learn vocabulary or not, and if you're thinking that okay, let's skip the vocabulary part, just listen, just read, and that's it, that's gonna make you fluent. No, do not think so. You need to include everything. Just reading will not make you fluent. Just speaking will not make you fluent. Or just memorizing vocabulary lists will not make you fluent. The thing is that you need to learn vocabulary, but you need to include other things too. And if you're reading and listening, then you need to focus on the vocabulary too. Everything goes hand in hand. It's a cycle that needs to be created in order to become fluent. If you're not following that particular cycle, if you are trying to master things individually, it will not work out. The combination will work out. So make that combination work for you. Improve your vocabulary, include vocabulary in the other tasks that you are doing for improving your English speaking skills. That is something that you need to keep in mind. And try to use the words that you're learning. Learning the words and then speaking them out while you're having conversation, that's the aim. to use them. You must be able to use the vocabulary. That's what's going to make you sound fluent. When you use a word confidently, that's what makes a difference. That is how you sound confident and fluent. Because you have confidence of using it in a sentence, you know that you're not gonna make a mistake, you automatically sound so fluent. So enhance your vocabulary, that's the key. Do not skip enhancing vocabulary. Do not think that you can skip this part of enhancing or paying attention to what's vocabulary. Vocabulary is a part that needs to be included in your overall plan of improving your English speaking fluency. So that is it. That's the lesson for today. I hope that this lesson helped you. This is a common query among a lot of learners, and this is something that can make you lag behind in your journey of becoming fluent in English. So do not lag behind. Take a step further, improve your vocab, and keep on doing your practice. English speaking practice, listening practice, and reading practice. Everything in order to become fluent in English. Now I'm gonna see you tomorrow with a new lesson. Till then, everyone, take care and bye.